Okay, welcome everybody. This is my first show, and well, it's not a show, but it's just like a way to pay forward some things that I've learned and actually have others, all of us have learned much about it. So what I want you to know is I would never say I'm a professional in any subject, but the beauty of coming together like this is that we all have bits and pieces. So I've got a couple videos to share before we get started. And I'll just tell you, about how I got started, and then I want others to share. And basically we'll go from there, and questions, answers, all that good stuff. So I'm going to open my screen, and I've got this song, which I think I just found it yesterday. And the voice that I hear in it talking is Robin Williams. And it's by one of my favorite bands that I actually photographed before COVID. And they're in the reggae community. So they put this together.
Some people will use a symbolism of the relationship of God to the universe, wherein God is, say, brilliant light, only somehow veiled, hiding underneath all these forms that you see as you look around. But the truth is funnier than that. It is that you are looking right at the brilliant light now, that the experience you are having, which you call ordinary everyday consciousness, pretending you're not it, that experience is exactly the same thing as it. There's no difference at all. And when you find that out, you laugh yourself silly. That's the great discovery. In other words, when you really start to see things, and you look at an old paper cup, and you go into the nature of what it is to see, what vision is, or what smell is, or what touch is, you realize that that vision of the paper cup is the brilliant light of the cosmos. Nothing could be brighter. 10,000 suns couldn't be brighter.
Let me tell you first, I wanna eat on no chopper. It's just you have a thirst for the beat and the bubble. Whoa, going to the Jericho, we go leave the heroes in the rubble. And then we visualize our future in the mirrors of the upper. Oh, don't wanna hear no cliche. Jumping at the bit, but biting every word they say. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Put it on repeat, defeated when they speak in the street. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Jumping at the bit, but biting every word they say. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Spin the face again, poets say an original sin. You walk around high stepping but don't see your feet, and then you're feeling so like they don't need the streets. I'll be ready for the winter, gotta beat the heat, and to the righteous rider go and reach the beat. And every person is capable of a miracle, steering across the city, creating a verbal vehicle, calm, collected and humble with no hysterical, ranting and raving, paving the way, cause we don't wanna hear no shit. Jumping at the bit, but writing every word they say. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Put it on repeat, defeated when they speak in the street. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Jumping at the bit, but writing every word they say. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Spin the face again, poets say an original sin. Working together with all our people is feminine. We'll appreciate flexing our own, won't be no derivative. Striving and fighting our way to the top of the mountain, giving it everything we have. Can't stay focused on cause they limited. It's not a word we recognize. Great spirit, listen if you're giving it back and right. Use your third eye, every blind your second sight. Realize about all the words, so on they hear the cliche. Jumping at the bit, but biting every word they say. Don't wanna hear no cliche. Put it on repeat, when they speak in the street. Don't want to hear no cliche. Jumping at the bit, but writing every word they say. Don't want to hear no cliche. Spin the face again, poets say an original sin.
Okay. I like that. Talk about words, right? Kind of a perfect song to open this up with. And Alan Watts, to me, sounds like Robin Williams. So it makes me curious about that whole character. But let me come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and play this really quick about numbers. So saved. Okay, so first we'll do this. A few of you may have seen this already, but I'm just going to do it. It's very short.
What if words aren't just meaning? They're math. And every name is a frequency signature in disguise. Gematria is the ancient system of assigning numerical values to letters used in Hebrew, Greek, and mystic texts. Each word isn't just sound, it's code. The word light and the word soul, often the same value. Why? Because in the universe's language, resonance equals truth. Quantum physics shows numbers govern vibration. Gematria reveals the hidden blueprint behind names, scriptures, even your own identity. You weren't named by chance. You were encoded by source. Gematria isn't numerology. It's divine encryption. If this resonates, hit like.
Okay. And then I found this one. Sorry, guys. I should have had it set up.
Introducing Critical Thinking Cards. This deck of cards features 48 of the most common
Metatron's cube. This is a complex and significant symbol in sacred geometry, representing the underlying structure of the universe. It is named after the archangel Metatron, a powerful figure in Jewish mysticism who is said to be the scribe of God and the keeper of the records of the universe. This sacred geometric figure contains 13 circles connected by straight lines, forming patterns that hold deep spiritual and metaphysical meanings. Its interconnected circles and lines symbolize the interconnectedness of all things in the universe, showing how everything is part of a grand design. It reflects the idea that creation is both structured and infinite. Metatron's cube contains all 5 Platonic solids, which are considered the building blocks of reality. These shapes are believed to be the fundamental forms underlying all matter in the universe, associated with the classical elements, fire, earth, air, water, and ether, symbolizing the framework of the material world. The pattern is often used in meditation and spiritual rituals to connect with higher consciousness or divine realms. The Vesica Pisces. This is a sacred geometry shape formed by the intersection of 2 circles, where the center of each circle lies on the circumference of the other. This creates a lens or almond-like shape in the middle. It is one of the oldest symbols in sacred geometry and holds deep spiritual significance across various cultures. In religious and mystical traditions, the Vesica Pisces often symbolizes the union of opposites, such as the spiritual and physical worlds or the divine feminine and masculine. It has been associated with creation, the intersection of consciousness, and the gateway to higher knowledge. The shape also plays a role in the formation of the seed of life and flower of life patterns, integral to other sacred geometry concepts, the Sri Yantra. This is a sacred geometric symbol used in Hinduism and Tantric traditions, representing the cosmos and the divine feminine. It is composed of 9 interlocking triangles, 4 pointing upward symbolizing Shiva, masculine energy, and 5 pointing downward symbolizing Shakti, feminine energy. These triangles create a complex, symmetrical pattern with 43 smaller triangles, forming a central point known as the Bindu, which represents the universe's origin or the point of creation. The Sri Yantra is often used in meditation and spiritual practices to focus the mind and awaken higher consciousness. It is believed to represent the union of divine energies and the balance of the physical and spiritual realms. As a powerful symbol of spiritual ascension, it is often associated with achieving material and spiritual prosperity. The circle of life. This is a universal symbol representing the cyclical nature of existence, found in various spiritual, philosophical, and cultural traditions. It reflects the idea that life moves in a continuous cycle: birth, growth, death, and rebirth or renewal. This concept emphasizes that all aspects of life are interconnected and interdependent, and that every end leads to a new beginning. In sacred geometry, the circle is seen as a perfect shape, symbolizing unity, wholeness, eternity, and infinity. Its unbroken, continuous nature represents the unending flow of time and the eternal cycle of life. The circle of life also embodies balance, harmony, and the interconnectedness of all living things within the universe. In many cultures, the circle is used in rituals and teachings to illustrate the relationship between the physical and spiritual realms, the individual and the collective, and the finite and infinite aspects of existence. The Merkaba. This is a sacred geometric symbol that represents a multidimensional energy field and spiritual vehicle in many mystical traditions. It is depicted as two interlocking tetrahedrons, one pointing upward and the other downward, forming a three-dimensional star shape. Merkaba combines three words in Hebrew, mer, meaning light, ka, meaning spirit and body, symbolizing the connection between these three elements.
Trinity.
It represents the balance between masculine and feminine energies, the physical and spiritual worlds, and the mind, body, and spirit. In mysticism, the Merkaba is believed to be a light body vehicle that allows for ascension and spiritual travel to higher realms, aiding in spiritual awakening and enlightenment. The Merkaba is often linked to ancient Egyptian and Kabbalistic traditions. It is used in meditation practices to align one's energy with the universe and achieve spiritual transformation or protection. The torus is a three-dimensional, donut-shaped figure defined mathematically as a surface generated by revolving a circle around an axis outside the circle. It is one of the most important shapes in both science and spirituality, symbolizing energy flow, balance, and self-sustaining systems. It consists of a central hole and a continuous, curved surface that wraps around itself. This shape allows for the circulation of energy or matter in a self-contained, perpetual loop. It can be visualized as an energy vortex, where energy flows in through one pole,
Gravity.
circulates around the center,
That's what we call
and
gravity.
exits through the other pole,
But it's
creating a
not.
balanced and continuous motion. In spiritual traditions, the torus is often used to represent energy fields, particularly around living beings like the human body. It is said to depict the structure of the human aura or energy field, and some associate it with the heart's electromagnetic field. The torus is seen as a representation of the dynamic, cyclical nature of the universe, suggesting that everything in the cosmos operates through continuous cycles of expansion and contraction, inflow and outflow of energy. In physics, the torus appears in magnetic fields and plasma dynamics. For instance, the magnetic field surrounding the Earth is shaped like a torus. Some cosmological models suggest that galaxies, black holes, and even the universe itself exhibit toroidal energy patterns. The torus shape is also found in natural systems, such as hurricanes or whirlpools, where matter or energy circulates in a self-sustaining, spiraling motion. Generally, the torus is a symbol of unity, balance, and the infinite cycle of energy in nature and the universe. The Star of David. This, also known as the Magen David, is a widely recognized symbol of Judaism and Jewish identity. It is a hexagram consisting of two overlapping equilateral triangles that form a six-pointed star. The Star of David holds deep religious, spiritual, and cultural significance, and its meaning has evolved over centuries. The origins of the Star of David are somewhat unclear, and it is not mentioned in early Jewish texts like the Torah. The symbol is found in many ancient cultures, including Hinduism, Islam, and occult traditions, where it was often associated with balance, protection, and cosmology. In Jewish mysticism, particularly Kabbalah, the Star of David is seen as a representation of the relationship between God and the universe, and between the divine and the earthly realms. The two interlocking triangles are said to symbolize the connection between the divine and human, heaven and earth. The Star of David first began appearing in Jewish texts and synagogues around the Middle Ages. In the 17th century, the Jewish community of Prague adopted it as a symbol, and it gradually became associated with Judaism as a whole. By the 19th century, the Star of David became widely recognized as a symbol of Jewish identity. Its use was formalized in the 20th century, when it was adopted as the central emblem of the flag of Israel in 1948. In Kabbalistic tradition, the Star of David is also seen as a protective symbol, with the 6 points of the star representing the 6 directions, north, south, east, west, up, and down, with God's presence at the center. This suggests that the wearer or user of the star is protected on all sides. It is commonly seen in synagogues, Jewish gravestones, and religious texts, symbolizing the Jewish faith and community. It also appears on Jewish jewelry and amulets, symbolizing protection and divine connection. The spiral. This is a fundamental geometric shape, either expanding outward or contracting inward. It is commonly associated with growth, movement, and evolution, both in nature and symbolism. It is common in nature, such as in shells, galaxies, and hurricanes. The spiral symbolizes the journey of life, spiritual growth, and expansion of consciousness, cycles in nature, such as seasons or life-death rebirth patterns. In sacred geometry, The spiral is often seen as a symbol of harmony between chaos and order. Spirals appear frequently in nature, such as in Fibonacci sequences seen in nautilus shells, flower petals, pine cones, and galaxies. In many spiritual traditions, the spiral is used as a symbol of personal and cosmic development, representing the path from the outer world to the inner soul or higher consciousness. The spiral is celebrated for its representation of natural growth, universal order, and the flow of life.
What pairs nicely with a first-time dad? A first-class.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome. What do you guys think of that?
Awesome. I love those videos, but all of them, even the first song that you played.
Yeah,
I do.
everything connected. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead, Amber. Yeah, it does. It kind of connects it. It's, for me, it's really good to look at it again because they're all concepts, that we've been learning and heard about all along. But I think the further that we go along, the more the puzzle pieces fit together. So I think that's amazing. I have a couple more things to share. And, but I definitely want to make sure that anybody who's interested in learning more is able to discuss that. And again, I want all of your input because I know that you know things that I don't. I just want to show you first, I guess, how I've applied it in my own life so that it could give you inspiration possibly, or make you look at things a little differently, which is what I want in return, right, from you. And I think that this is going to be fun. So hang on. Here's one more that I want to share with you.
The laws of numbers apply directly to the plants we eat. Every ear of corn has an even number of rows. Each watermelon has an even number of strips on the rind, and each stalk of wheat has an even number of grains. When Jesus spoke about the harvest, he specified 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold. All of them are even numbers. The math of the harvest is written into the crops.
Those who come in.
Are we supposed to be seeing something, Gia? We heard it.
You guys, just know I haven't done this in quite a while.
You're fine. You're fine.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I do it with Carla every week. Duh. But my own channel. And yeah, thank you. I'm going to run that one more time because it's short. So hang on a second.
The laws of numbers apply directly to the plants we eat. Every ear of corn has an even number of rows. Each watermelon has an even number of strips on the rind, and each stalk of wheat has an even number of grains. When Jesus spoke about the harvest, he specified 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold. All of them are even numbers. The math of the harvest is written into the crops.
Okay.
I find that quite interesting.
And there's one more here. And there's a few of these, but I just picked a couple. There's more.
Even insects run on biblical math. Look at the bee. It has 3 body sections, 6 legs, and exactly 9 barbs on each side of its stinger. 3, 6, 9. The numbers of divine perfection and finality. God didn't just write the Bible. He engineered the world.
Okay. Okay. And now let me just do something because it kind of ties into that. And let's see. Search nervous system. Okay, nervous system reprogram. So I was listening to a video one day and the guy said, he used that term, nervous system reprogramming. And this is how to use Gematria, because I got a light bulb, right, that I needed to decode that. Nervous system reprogramming. And this is what I found. It equals 369. Now, we'll go into this detail. And some of you know, some of you don't. Maybe I don't know. So we'll have to figure all that out. But this is Gematrinator. And this is the calculator that you'll end up using to get the numbers. Negative told us green means go. So in simple gematria, ABC 1, 2, 3, it equals 369. But in reverse, where Z equals 1 and A equals 26, it comes to 333. Also, I like to look at the other numbers. I can't help myself. I see a 144 and a 135. But what else I'm going to tell you about that I learned that you can do in gematria that will give you more meaning. So we learned that you go to the greens. So then what I would do is go over to Gematrix, and I would put 369 in there. So, okay, we'll do that next. But first, so I would write in my notebook, nervous system reprogramming 369, but I'll probably put 333 on the page because I'm going to go there next and decode a few of those. So that's how I start my own decodes. I find the phrase I'm interested in. I think the phrases you come up with in your head are worth more. Things that happen in your daily life. I've used golf balls as my messages on golf balls. And it gives me something to do when I get home from my daily walk, barefoot, up in the woods, splinters, tarantulas, coyotes, all these things. But it's a 45-minute, gives me 2 good hills, and I pray. I talk to God pretty much the whole time. I pretend I'm holding his hand, and I say, I want a better world. I stop and hug trees, and I just basically lay it all out every morning. But with that, I'm also curious about some colored thing I see up ahead on the trail. What is that? Oh, what's over there? Oh, there's a golf ball in a tree. What? Okay, whatever it is, I think the more you're open to it and you have a sense of wonder, and you're literally, I learned that from my old life, I need to become like a military person. I needed to put some structure back in my life. I needed to exercise and feel better about myself because my toxic relationship was so bad that I ate to make myself happy. I bought things to make myself happy. Shoes, new purses, whatever. But it only made me happy for 10 minutes. So I had to readdress all these things when I left a 30-year marriage. And my walks helped me with this tremendously, and my prayer and my asking for guidance and all of it. Excuse me. So I just want you to know another little tip, but I don't want to give you too much information. So I learned that green means go, but I also learned that you can add all these letters up all the way across and get another decode. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42. All the way across, it equals 45. The other thing that I was told, you could even look at these numbers, 26 letters. Well, 26 is God. But you can say 26 plus 3. 3 words, 26 letters. So that equals 29, which equals 11. Anyway, enough on that. So now I'll go to Gematrix and I'll put in nervous system reprogramming. we were taught to go with simple. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but all these other ciphers, yada, yada. Believe me, all numbers stick out to me now. So I will see things in other numbers but I stick with coding simple because I think there's something to doing it that way that eventually makes sense and puts everything more into perspective. So yeah, there's other ciphers, but for myself, I just want you to know I've only ever worked with the simple. So, and then, the two greens, I'll say. So nervous system reprogramming. Oh shoot, why didn't that? I must have messed something up. Why did that come out? Nervous system I think I missed a letter. Yeah, I missed a dang M. Okay. 369. Okay. So, and this is what we are all doing, no doubt. We are nervous system reprogramming because we all get angry about things or we get into lows. And what to me this whole thing is about is balancing myself again, not being in screaming matches in my old relationship, not trying to prove myself on a Telegram chat of why I'm right and you're wrong. Not because I told somebody yesterday, everybody's right. And who am I to tell you you're wrong? Okay, you take a gazillion pills every day for your food. That works for you. I just want to be your friend. I got, and this person does this and that person says you take this. For me, I found out financially that I couldn't even do many of these things. I also learned that my mind is more powerful than any of those things. So I had to use different devices for myself, but I still respect everyone. And I know that our differences are what make us beautiful, because if we were all exactly the same, oh my goodness, well, that would be boring. Okay. So I'm actually going to just go to my decode because I pull up 369 and I get my phrases. So let me come back over to my phrases and tell you what I pulled out that day. Nervous system reprogramming, 369. It's the true excellent power of God, 369. Gematria is used with his invention, 369. Our creator orchestrated this plan, 369. Thou shalt not worship false gods, 369. For there is no man which sinneth not, 369. If you add 3 plus 6 plus 9, you get 18. Me, M-E, equals 18. So to me, that was a very significant decode that morning. And especially with the numbers 333, 144, and 369, sacred geometry. And yeah. Okay. So
Perfect. You're rocking.
yeah, you guys probably all know this, but please, if you have something different to add as another way of looking at it, or how you do it yourself, like, I think this is going to be really important, is that we're going to help educate each other even more, with different tips and just being willing to share. So the next thing I guess I'll show you the way I do it is, gosh darn it, I should have left that. Okay, good. So the next number in green, right, is 333. So again, in my notebook, I'll put nervous system reprogramming, 369. I'll write down the phrases that resonate with me. And then I'll say reverse and 333. And I go back over to now Gematrix. And now I don't know in my head off the bat what is going to equal, what phrase I would need to put in here to put 333. So that's why it's valuable to memorize just a few of the letters and their totals. For me, that ended up being 5, 10, and 25. So for me to get to 333, I go with my biggest, 25, which is a Y. Y equals 25. So I put 4 of those in. 4. And then I put a space because I'm anal. And then I put 4 more in. And then 4 more in. Now I'm at 300. Oh, I can put a Y in again. So I'm at 325, 330. So E equals 5. So I put an E in. And then a 3 equals C. So now I can calculate with my calculator. And sometimes I make mistakes. So I always make sure that there it is. Okay, we're at 333. Now I'll go down to simple and painful memories from so long ago. 333. The story of a life on planet Earth. 333. Be the second coming of Jesus Christ. 333. He said he has traveled to the future. 333. Okay, so there's just a few of those. So, the other day I was glad to hit Melissa's teachings on Gematria when she spoke, because again, everybody has a different perspective and everybody does it a little differently and has tips and things that you don't know. So I'm trying to think of what I was just going to tell you that she said that, really resonated with me. I guess, shit, I don't remember, excuse me. I don't remember what point I was going to make, but it may come back. It may come back to me. Oh, I know. That's what I was going to tell you. The negative 48 calculator. I ended up downloading it probably a month and a half or 2 ago. And she was discussing it an awful lot. And I've been looking at it and I'm familiarizing myself with it. But for new people interested in doing this, my advice would be to start with the notebooks, because I think that was the whole value of the pen in the Q drops and even on 8chan or 4chan, because they were back then in the Q drops, they were posting about the pen. Now, there's something about hand-eye coordination and maybe reprogramming that nervous system. For me, I'm grateful to have physical copies of what I wrote. It's more meaningful to me. It's my penmanship. It's my handwriting. And I remember negative 48 said, hey, keep these notebooks. They might have historical value someday. So what I'm finding out is, because I downloaded the calculator recently, I can go back on my notebooks and to build up my 4,800 entries, I can go right from notebook number 1 and I can start adding. And again, all these things are adding from a lot of my own personal experiences, my own personal life, things I was decoded because I didn't understand and I was trying to figure it out. So that's what makes this language personal to each and every one of us. No one the same, just like your fingerprint, your iris, your heartbeat. So that's why it's very valuable. And the more you do it, the more things that you start getting those light bulb moments. You realize there's something more bigger than me. And so it's a beautiful thing. But another thing I'll share with you is what I do on my decodes. When I'm done with the numbers and writing it all down, I'll take it to, and Char is with us. And the other night, which she did that I'm going to share with you, President Trump, was it 2 days ago, posted all those significant posts all day long. And she took the time to decode them and take the pictures of them and, make sure that for her Telegram channel, she had all this information that she had worked on during the day. So when she shared that with us on her channel, she gave us the timestamps, gave us the cue drop. And then when she was done with what she found, I was in the background looking up scripture that had to do with everything, every decode, every timestamp. So when she was done, I came forward and said, okay, here's the biblical reference. And then we had Becky on with us, and she was in the back doing decodes with Gematria. So when I was done, she came in with the most amazing phrases that wrapped the whole darn thing up in a beautiful bow. And really, from the first thing that Shar shared with us to the end, which took some time, it just gave us a full circle, beautiful smile in my heart and a beautiful way to fall asleep when we were done. So thank you again, Shar. Amber was there and so supportive, and it was just beautiful. I'm still smiling about it. So right now what I'm going to do is say, like, because we just did 369, I'm going to do 369 in the Bible. So first it tells me about the Strong's Concordance numbers, and that Hebrew 3:6 in Hebrew 369, it means there is not, nothing, or without. It appears hundreds of times in the Old Testament, in Job and in Psalms. And in Greek 369, Strong's Concordance, it says an adverb used once in the New Testament in Acts 10:29, meaning without gainsaying. Gainsaying is one, it's all one word, gainsaying, without hesitation. So to me, that would mean without trying to say something to you that I'm trying to gain something for myself. Meaning that I just want to be open, truthful, and your friend without gainsaying or without hesitation, which is what's in quotes here, without hesitation. I'm not going to stop and think, God, how can I talk to them so I gain something out of this? So I just come right out and tell you my true heart, what I think, right? In Psalm 336:9, it says, for with you is the fountain of life. In your light, we see light. In Isaiah 3:6-9, it deals with the military threat of the Assyrian commander challenging King Hezekiah's trust in Egypt and God. So anyway, that to me is how I've educated myself, because I didn't know anything about the Bible. I never picked it up and read it my whole life. I mean, to me, I look back now and realize, okay, God was missing in my life, but not in a way to look badly at myself, more in a way that this was my lesson, right? I had to go through those things, and it was all part of this. And I'm even thankful to my ex-husband, because how can I have learned if I hadn't? So I just see how it's a beautiful story meant for our greatest interest. And we can educate ourselves, if we're willing to, on all of it. For me, I'm just sharing with you how it worked. And I guess the last thing I would share with you, so on my walk, I came up to this sign, and it was pure as white when I first moved up here, but you can see there's been lots of messages here. this particular day, I got to it, and the barn sour was covered with black tape. Okay, why? Well, what does barn sour mean? Barn sour is a scared horse that doesn't want to leave the stall. And so I don't know. I don't know why it got covered up in tape. I can tell you that when I moved here, I was that horse. And I'm not anymore. That's how I can look at that in symbology. But it also says, how do you like me now? Doesn't have a question. How do you like me now? And these also were here. TK, AEJ. And I did decodes on these back then. I don't have them handy with you except for one. So I'm going to show you that. And I'm just trying to stress how your daily events, no matter what it is, if you think it's a piece of trash, you think it's this, that, a license plate, something you see that sticks out for you, I would say there's a meaning in it. So on that day, I came home, and here's just part of it. How do you like me now? 233. And right away, I have to tell you that, right, we learned that you can stack the threes and come up with another number. So 233, if you add 3 plus 3, that's your 6. So 26. God equals 26. How do you like me now? 233. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 233. Follow the White Rabbit, 233. Timing is everything, 233. The Lord Jesus Christ, 233. February 17, that was my mom's birthday. But I know it also, I think it's Lincoln's birthday. I don't remember. Anyway, February 17th, the only reason I wrote it was for my mama. They know we're coming, 233. Brothers and sisters, 233. God is good. God is great. Amen. 233. The time of the trumpet is 233. Now, I also see the number 233 in there. So I am equals 23. But there's a lot more 233s, and I'm not going to bore you with them, because this is the other thing you need to know, is you only write what you like and what makes sense to you. What made sense to me when I started doing it was seeing music that my dad, I knew, played in. And so when I'd see a song title, that pertained to my life. But there may be things in there. People always would say, Gia, do Gematria on my name. Gia, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this. Oh my gosh. And I did do it. Kind of reminds me of my old marriage. But anywho, what I would always try to say to them, I'll do it for you, but it's not the same as you doing it for yourself, because there's going to be things in there that I would have no clue that you would be like, holy moly. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no way that I can know that. And that's what makes it individualized to you. So it'll be completely different. Yeah. Okay. And then, so here's one more thing. I'll show you my notebook. Oy, oy. Oops. Stop. This is embarrassing because I haven't even done this in so long, but whatever. Here's my first notebook, special to me because one of my kids I worked with in high school gave this to me. And it says on it, see what it says?
Strange music. Yeah. Strange
Yeah,
music. Love it.
that's a decode, FYI. I did it before, but long, long ago. So is Top Shelf Reggae. I used to photograph for them in the festival world until I wouldn't get a COVID shot. Okay. But so here's my very first decode. pinkfloyd.com equals 182. God, it's so simple. 182. Light of the world, 182. Dark side of the moon, 182. Okay, I'm just going to stop there because that's, synchronicity, 182. pinkfloyd.com, 182. Dark side of the moon, 182. Synchronicity, 182. Okay, so my first notebook it's like so sloppy and choppy, and I was a hot mess too, because I was like scared to be alone for the first time in my life. But every day it helped me get through hard times, because, and if you put it in the perspective of time, would I have rather been sitting in this house crying, angry at everybody, mad, or doing something with my time to bring me some hope, inspiration? I think I'd rather do that. So that's what I did. So that was my first notebook. My second notebook, to me, I like looking at because it's a lot more. It's just a lot more. It's just more. I got not so sloppy. And I put a lot more. I filled everything. And then I got 3 more. And now I have another one. Plus, I got a lot of loose leaf papers everywhere. And I mean, and then I've got the decodes I did in Telegram that I never put to paper. So I'm just telling you, God put me in the wilderness, me, myself, and I, to get over my toxic BS, forge a relationship, mano on mano, and do what was asked of me, and to be the example. And that's it. But the Gematria set me free. And so I'm going to stop talking now, but I felt like I needed to intro with all of that to give you how it has affected my life. And let me give thanks to Negative 48. When I scheduled my trip to Dallas, that same day at 9:00 at night, I was out photographing the full moon and felt as if I was pushed off the curb by a force unseen. Landed on my face first on the asphalt, broke out my 2 front teeth, broke my hand, teeth in my mouth, gravel, asphalt. Couldn't believe what just happened. It's emergency, had to get a lot of stuff done, but long story short, the next week was my trip to Dallas, maybe 2 weeks from there. So went to the dentist, went to the hand doctor, went to Dallas with my right hand broken to start my education. And when I walked up to Negative 48 in the AT&T Plaza, which was another freak story of how that happened. It was fun. It was cool. Well, it was funny because there was a woman who told me, I'm going to meet you there, Gia. I can't wait to meet you and I'm going to help you. And you just look for me. So I get to the plaza where negative 48 is surrounded by tons of people, and I'm getting a little closer, close enough. And this woman comes from behind me, and she just guides me and pushes me through the crowd, smack dab face to face with negative 48. And I'm like, I'm nervous too, because I already built a relationship with him on Telegram where I was kind of nervous, because to me, he was giving us something that was above me, beyond me. Also, he was stern about it. So I was a little nervous, but he looked at me and I looked at him. And all I remember that day, and I'll never forget, is watery, teary eyes. Mine and his. He signed my cast. Then I went off to the side because everybody wanted to see him. And I get a text on my phone. She goes, Gia, are you here? And did you make it? She's in Florida. That's where she came from. And I sent her, instead of responding, I sent her the picture of negative 48 and myself that I had just taken with him. She was the one that pushed me into the crowd, into him. She ended up being the one that made me get up close to him. And we both cracked up so hard. She was like, oh my God. And we just grabbed each other and hugged each other. And I'll never forget that that happening at that moment. But what I realized too, when I was there, I was there 3 different times. One time he wasn't there. Nobody was there. Only 4 of us were there. 2 times that he was there, I could only ever afford to get away from my home and pay for these hotel rooms for a period of 3 days, 2 nights, or no, 3 nights. I don't remember, but either way, never enough time. Like many people got to be with him and stay with him. And my life at that time would not afford that. Nobody understand why I was there. They were offended by it. They were scared of it. And you know what I mean? It was just like, I couldn't be there any longer. So I had to go home with just what I gathered when I was there. But when I was there, what I realized is this is some grueling stuff. They're having us come in, during the day and sometimes be there till 4 a.m. Always with food to eat and a break, but working hard about educating. And even it was out of my box, right? Because I like to be in bed by 10 o'clock, people. I'm a sleeper. But while I was there, it was so important to show stamina and endurance. And to me, I had to, again, apply this to my life in grounding, in exercise, in changing my eating habits, in doing gematria, in breathing, in coloring in a coloring book and crying my ass off and breaking all the crayons and throwing them all over the yard. I had to do all these things, and I'm still doing them, and I'm still trying to do the best I can. So now I'm done. Okay. Anybody?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your story and being so raw and real. It means a lot, and it's very touching. I know I'm not the only one that feels that. So we appreciate you. We love you, honestly, and thank you for doing this class. And I love the backstory, the videos, all the information. It's just, I think it's important, and that's why you shared it. So I just wanted to again say thank you.
And I will agree 100%, Gia, with what Amber just said. Thank you so much for opening up and sharing with us.
Crying a little bit, but I'm just a crybaby anyway, so I'm used to that. But thank you so much. It means so much. And I want to add something regarding gematria and I hope Kim doesn't mind, because I asked her first, actually. So she doesn't. But she's lost her husband recently. And became friends through Telegram. And for me, I can't tell you what she did to at least make me not feel so alone. And a couple of winters ago, my power was going out and I was freezing in my house trying to conserve propane. So because I don't have money to pay for it, working off a radiator heater instead of the propane. And then the power goes out. I'm freezing. And she goes, I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you one of my grandmother's oil lamps. I got 5 of them. They're antiques, Gia. They are amazing. They are heavy and that thick glass from long ago. Oh my gosh. But I have 5 of them. And they keep you warm. So I'm mailing this to you. A few days later, in comes the box with the most amazing, antique, beautiful, brings back memories from my own childhood oil lamp. Well, then I start seeing oil lamps on Telegram. Oil lamps referenced to in different ways about Christ and Christ oil. And I'm just, there's more, and there was more back then, but just her kindness and giving me something that was her grandmother's that's now sitting in my house, like to keep me warm. There's been many people that have gone out of their way to send me things to let me know that, they're glad to be on this journey together and to just bring me a smile. And, it's just, I'll never forget those things. And they're in my house now. So whenever I see them, I'm just like, somebody loves me. Somebody cares. And they're strangers. They never even met me in my life. So I just see that beauty of God coming through like this, and I know we all do. But back to Kim. She recently lost her husband. So there's been a lot of difficult moments and tears and freaking scared. And we actually had a little bit of a falling out, which is sad. And I had to learn my own lesson on this because she was falling apart so much so that I couldn't talk sense or try to help her out of it because she didn't want to hear it. So she got mad at me. And so we're both mad at each other. And we didn't talk for a few weeks. And that was hard for me because she's really the only person that got my personal number and made a friend with me. And so to go those long days without having her to break up my day, I was sad. But then the night of the UFC championship at the White House, Kim sent me a text and she said, "Oh my God, one of the UFC guys is from Rifle." And I was just like, oh, Kim sent me a text. I was so excited that she sent me a text. And then it opened up everything again for us. And it was like it never happened, And I had to say, look, I know I was being rough on you. I said, but you got to understand, like, when my life exploded with my ex-husband, even though one's a death, I would say I'd call it all a death, right? We're learning that we're all died and we're reborn. So, but I went through all these moments of scarcity in the bed, losing my keys. Where am I going to go for this? How am I going to do that? I don't know how to put a new faucet on my sink, and I got to do that now. Like, I would just literally have meltdowns that I can't, how? So I could see that in her. And what was hard for me is that all I wanted to do was build her. I didn't want to listen as much as say, listen, Kim, you've got this, And at the moment, that wasn't what she was ready for. She just wanted to let someone hear her cry. And so, again, I think we both realize what we were trying to do, looking back at it. But at the time, we were confused in it. And so, fast forward yesterday, 2 days, whatever. She called me in a panic off of a different phone number I didn't recognize her from with a text. And Gia, it's me. I dropped my phone in the lake. Okay. I'm like, okay. Here, I'm the plan. Okay, how are we going to do this? I don't have anything. I had to call mom to get your number. I don't have anything on Telegram. She's freaking like I would be. So I said, okay, hold on a second. I went into Telegram and I found as many links as I could to give her channels on his phone because he already had Telegram downloaded. I'm like, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that, here's that. Here's one running a live chat now. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we did that. And then I said, at least this is going to get you through tonight because you don't have any other choice. So tomorrow you're going to go to the store. You're going to do whatever you need to do. And so I'm like, but I had to keep talking up to her because she wanted to go into panic mode. Is she still here? Kim.
Yeah, I'm
but
here, sweetheart.
I'll let you chime in a second. But anyway, so we got her through so she could last the night, at least have contacts on Telegram, know that tomorrow she's going to deal with this. But I've been talking to her about Gematria too. So bottom line, Kim, do you have it handy?
No, sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't think you would, but I had mentioned to her, you should Gematria dropped phone in the lake. And do you remember what number it was by chance?
I think it was 294, Gia.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
Dropped my phone in the lake.
Dropped my phone in the lake. Okay, I just got 259. Doesn't matter. But what she read to me this morning from Drop My Phone in the Lake was nothing more than confirmation that God is with her and that be still and know that I am God. 259. You have immense worth. 259. To everything redirected. 259. I am coming for you, my bride. 259. And she was crying this morning as she read those to me. And this is how you can use Gematria in your own personal life. Not to mention, President Trump is giving us coded messages and that we can also figure out what he's trying to say to us. All in beautiful messages that this has been one already, but he is asking us to step up and do things because he's working it from the top. We're working it from the bottom. So I don't know if any of you heard Carla on Truth and Inspiration last night, but she had Oath Keeper Bill as a special guest. And he explained to us how to go to our sheriffs and what to do to start. And bottom line, his advice was either go there in person and see if he's like some sheriffs with an open door policy, or go call him on the phone, see if you can set up a phone appointment, or send an email and CC every congressman and legislator and person that you want included on that email. Take it to ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, I would like to address my local sheriff about fraudulent elections, about the flock camera system that just went into my community without our permission. I want to know, are you a constitutional sheriff? Are you familiar with a constitutional sheriff? Are you aware that we're not going to have an election in November? I recently attended a Fraud Fighter Summit, and I learned how we're going to be able to count our vote going forward. And I just want you to know I'm a concerned citizen in the community that is willing to do whatever I can to help this community go forward with what I've learned. And if you need my help, and basically be excited, because we've all been, in a system of control, and now we're learning that we're going to open it up to our freedom, and I want to help. I want to be a part of that process. So Sheriff so-and-so, I'm Gia, pleased to meet you. I'd love to talk. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's why we don't need to go, AI is evil. That AI, it's so evil. No, because what we've learned doing Gematria is that everything is duality, good and bad. Do I want to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, how do I hack into my neighbor's phone and steal their, or whatever? And is that my intention? Is that my frequency? No. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how can I construct a beautiful letter that makes sense? Help me out. Make it sound so I sound so smart. So that's how I'm going to use AI. And but we've got a lot of people telling us, oh, no, it's bad, and stay away from it. And that's the propaganda war. That's the people that don't want you to use it like how I just described how I'm going to use it for myself. So we just all have to be our own. Some may disagree with me. I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you, how I feel about it. And I understand that other people are going to feel differently, even though they just heard me say that. So, and that's okay, because everybody has the right to feel their own way. And I would never take that away from you. But I'm just telling you how I'm applying all this stuff. Okay, Kim, anybody? And hello,
I
Joan.
just wanted to say about the phone thing. I didn't back up my passwords, nothing. And, we've been preparing for this blackout, and our phone's going down. I got a taste of that yesterday, and it was very hard. Made my blood pressure go up a little bit. And my husband, he'd usually try to calm me down or either rattle me back up, one of the two. But what I found out was no matter what, TVs go down, phones go down, we're going to be okay. And the Gematria, I'm telling you, the numbers don't lie. They don't lie one bit. And I'm thankful and grateful that we do have such a great, wonderful group of people, and kindness is just being poured out to me since my husband's passed. And I'm really grateful for all that too. But if you can, learn Gematria. It's a lot of fun, and you'll enjoy it, and you can pass it on to others. And thank you, Gia, and I love you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Kim, for sharing. I love you so much too. And again, I'm just so thankful that I had somebody in my life. So I didn't feel like, because I got labeled a lot of things, and from my own family. And unfortunately, because I was married to someone in the Jewish religion, immediately they were concerned about me being in a cult. And of course, the media told them that we were anti-Semite. So all these people I loved on, and again, went out of my way did photo shoots for weddings, in the family, and planned the parties and the vacations for my family, and hosted. I mean, just you name it, they all kind of wrote me off in the blink of an eye. And I did not understand. It was very painful. But so just having a friend, again, sight unseen, just through this movement, was priceless for me, and it will go down till the day I die. I will hold that so sacred in my heart. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and anybody else who wants to speak, I would love that. But honestly, I want to know if there's questions about Gematria, and if if you weren't here and heard the whole thing, I'm going to go ahead and repost this because I think it was a good explanation and a very simple one of how to just get going with it. And it's so easy. ABC 1, 2, 3. It's so easy. But what you would need is the tools, which is the Gematrinator, which I'm going to post. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and put the videos that we watched on the wall, this recording, and the 2 sites that you would use. And that's all I need to say about it. I'll do those for you. And does anybody have any questions?
I do, Gia. Because I have an Android and we're using this, it's not an app that you download. It's a link, right, for the Androids, if I'm understanding right. And then I'm just going by what Melissa said. Is it 4,800? Yeah, 48. You have to have 4,800 before it'll start saving them, sort of say. And then how does that kind of work? I just kind of.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that's the one thing that I want you to know that I feel would be more valuable for you to do, even though that calculator is going to be valuable as well. So this is the deal. I'm going to go open my screen. So on the internet, you are going to have access to what I've used the entire time without that calculator that you're discussing, that Melissa discussed. Okay? That calculator I have on my phone as an app, but as a website. This is where I suggest you start before you use that calculator, that app calculator. So, you heard me talk about the importance of pen to paper and hand-eye and the brain, left-right brain, paper, writing. My recommendation would be that you start with a notebook. And this is what you do. You go to the Gematrinator website. And that's what I'm going to post when we're done here. Okay? And so you won't use the app. You won't use that -48 app. And this is where you start. And if I just put Amber in the calculator, I find out -48 taught us green means go. I see 2 green numbers. Interesting, 96, 69, yin yang. That's like what I see in my head. I also see, even though I'm not only supposed to look at the green numbers, I can't help but notice that 33 and 21, 777, 33. Jesus died at 33, and 33 is significant. But Amber comes to 39. So in my notebook, I always put the date at the top of what day I'm working it so I can look back. I would put Amber 39, and then I would go to Gematrix. That's where the phrases are. First off, I can tell you by memorizing, 39 means angel. Angel 39, Amber 39. Okay, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say Amber and Gematrix. Calculate it. Now, what you need to know is the very top of it is going to give you meanings in Hebrew Gematria, but you're going to scroll down past that and get to simple, which is in the middle. And then the second thing entered is angel, 39. 10, 39. To me, 10 means number 1, right? Because 0 means nothing. You're a number 1, Amber, you angel. LOL, 39. Art, 39. I would resonate with that because I love to do art. here's the word dot, because sometimes in a decode, like if Trump's put a sentence with a dot at the end, that you'd put dot in your decode. And you guys all probably saw that shortcuts for, exclamation point is EP, question mark is QM. That's how you use it in Gematria. Rat equals 39. Team equals 39. Shar always says there's no I in team. Team equals 39. I'm back, 39. Now, that could mean Trump's back. That could mean, didn't the Shining guy say that? I'm back. I'm back, because this is about me. This is my ascension. I'm healing myself. I'm back, 39. What I told Kim earlier is there's multiple meanings, even in Gematria. And I told her that when I first started reading Gematria and I would read the word Barack Obama or Joe Biden, after I started doing Gematria for so long, I started saying, wait a minute, who's the Barack Obama in my life, in my personal life? Who's the Joe Biden in my personal life? I use them as metaphors. So I started taking on different meaning on them as well. And it just, like, as I went along doing it, in the beginning, I would just write Barack Obama. Okay, I'd think of him. But as I started doing it 2 years later, I realized, holy moly, maybe Barack Obama means the evil person in my life. Okay, so now, Amber, I go back to Gematrinator, and I go to those two greens, right? So your first decode, I put your name in Gematrix and got those phrases. But now I'm going to go back and enter the value of 96. How do I get to 96? Again, I've memorized the letters that help me get there. So Y equals 25, J equals 10, and E equals 5. So I want to get to 96. I'm going to put 3 Y's in for 75, and then 2 10s, 85, 95. And then I know A equals 1, so 96 is A. That's how I get there for the second green reading, because I don't know what phrase is going to equal it immediately. So I've got to figure out how to build it in Gematrinator. So again, Y 25, J's are 10s, E's are 5s. Those are the 3 that I memorized in the beginning. So here we are at 96, simple Gematria. Scroll down to the center. 96, destiny, 96, knowledge, 96, Atlantis, 96. Now, for me, I'm going to tell you how they pertain to me. When I went to Dallas, I met a homeless man and spent some time with him, and his name was Turtle. So when I came home in Gematria Turtle, I see the name Turtle equals 96, homeless equals 96. What? A homeless man in Dallas named Turtle. Okay, so again, that's where you start building your base. Toyota is 96. Well, I own a Toyota 4Runner, so I would probably write that down. And last night, I just found out that Trump is bringing Toyota to the United States. So this is how it's a living language, because back then when I met the homeless man in Dallas, I wouldn't have correlated Toyota's meaning today from learning that he's bringing it back. Yesterday, I learned this. So this is how it's a living language. And MK Ultra ends up being 96. Don't Panic 96. Book of Life 96. Anyway, that's an example. So Amber, like on your notebook, you would start with Amber, put your 39 decodes, and then go to the reverse 96 and put those decodes. And that's just on your first name. Then you could decode your first and middle name. Then you could decode your first, middle, and last name at birth. Then you can decode your married name. Then you could decode your birth date. For me, is December 4th. So I could do 1, what the heck am I doing? 1, 2, 4, 1, 9, 6, 6. 1, 2 is 12, 4, 1966. So I can decode it like that. Or I can say 12, 4, 6, 6, and not put the 19. I could do December 4th, just like that by itself. I could do, anyway, that's what I'm saying. This is what makes it, again, individual to you, because you'll do it the way you would do it, or you'll do it several ways. I do it several ways, but I believe that that is what makes it personal to you, is because you're the one that chose how to do it. Also, I would, to bring back to scripture again, you were 36 in the Bible. To get more. Meaning of the number 36 in the Bible is the final chapter of the book of Numbers and Genesis 36. So it talks about, anyway, I'm not even going to go into detail, but this is how I use it. I'm just going to share that with you, because you'll read it and go, oh my gosh, like you'll get even more. The descendants, chapter 36 in Genesis, the descendants, it focuses entirely on Esau, who was called Edom, and lists his wife, sons, and the chiefs, kings who ruled the land of Edom before any king reigned over Israel. So to me, I would say you're a descendant by just looking into that. So you know what I mean? You can keep looking around and getting more meaning. Does that help you? Oh, so this is what I was going to say. So then what I'm going to do with the calculator that I recently downloaded, Amber, the app that Melissa spoke of, now what I'm going to do is take my notebook and I am going to start entering all these 5 notebooks. And I know that'll help me get to that 4,800 in no time. But at the same time, instead of it being digital in an app, I have physical, handwritten, dated, that I can hand this book to somebody else if they ever wanted to look at it, versus an app, if that makes sense. So what I would suggest for me, I'm going to do them both. So if you entered 1 page a day in your notebook on your name and came up with all those decodes, then you could go to that app and enter all those entries. And now you've started your base. So not only do you have it physically, but you also are doing it, in the app to build. And I'm excited now because I'm taking these notebooks and I'm just taking one of the pages and I'm starting to enter it. And I only have 200 entries right now. So I'm very much a newbie on that. But I wouldn't do it any differently, mostly because, as I stated in the beginning, we found out there is something to the pen the pen, Q, the pen. The Q drops with the pen. President Trump was stressing to us, put pen to paper. But I didn't know that back then. I do now. Because that's your hand-eye coordination. That's your way of even solidifying it more in your brain by actually writing it. And there's something to it, like cursive writing, that makes it even more significant. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I loved all that. It's super cool. And I am a hard copy girl. That's an old school thing. I always like a copy of something on paper. That's just me. But I love that. And it's history. And in 20 years, you'll be looking back at that going, oh my God, look at all this. Because how are you supposed to remember it and refer back? You know, they're going to catalog, I believe, all the recordings and things like that. But that's your own personal. It's history. I love all that. And thank you for doing all that.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And yeah, we're all unique and we all operate in a way that makes us each comfortable, you know? So it might look a little different from one another, but it's the basics is all you need. And then all of a sudden you'll realize you're going to be telling somebody else in a different way, which is what makes us all beautiful teachers, because some people don't want to hear my voice. I'll never forget, if you guys know Charles Adam Branch, in the beginning, what drew me to, you know, want to listen to him was his goofy, silly, twangy, y'all, you know, voice. I just, something about it. But one day we were on chat in the beginning and this woman came in and she goes, your voice irritates me. You know, you're full of this and your voice is irritating. And I mean, she just like ripped him up and then left. And then I laughed and I was like, oh my God, Adam, that cracks me up because it was your voice that made me like think you were funny and I wanted to follow you. Like, so that's just an example of why we need a lot of teachers that have their own slant, do it their own way. People that you can resonate with, some people you won't. I saw that working with kids in high school, you know, how some teachers got to some students and didn't others. I see the value of having more people be able to give their slant, and actually then teach me something at the same time because they do it a little uniquely. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, that's cool. Whatever. We're all given gifts. We're all equal. We're all no one above the other. We're just helping each other. And that to me is the gist of this whole movement. And to change an old system, an old guard, and put up this, what we're doing here right now, the new system.
Yeah, I have
Thank
a
you so
question
much.
for you. Oh, sorry, Shar. Go ahead, Shar,
Oh,
please.
that's all right. I was just going to say, I'm going to have to jump. I got something I've got to get done. So thank you, Gia, very much for that. And I would just echo what Gia is saying. At this point, when you're newly learning Gematria, I would not worry about the negative 48 calculator because you've got to build that up. And that's a whole different process to get just the bare bones of it and the understanding of it and to get your legs underneath it and the feel of everything. I definitely agree. It's the Gematrinator calculator and then using Gematrix. But also, what I would encourage is that when you use the Gematrinator calculator and you come up with a number, say 125, while you're in that calculator, you can have, as Gia said, something that comes across your mind or something that you see, type that in. You never know if that could equal that 125. You could have a saying that you say all the time that could possibly equal that 125. So it's just playing around with it and keeping it, what is negative, say simple, stupid, or stupid, simple, or whatever it was, because we don't need to get frustrated with it. This is definitely a tool, and I want everyone to enjoy it. And I think starting out, those are the two key factors. Just play with it. And the one nice thing about being on the computer is that if by chance you don't have the pen and paper in front of you, well, to Gia's point, you can always save it in your saved. So you can type up phrases or whatever, and then you could always transfer them to your paper. That way you don't lose them. But yeah, everybody's so important in this process. And I do think it's going to be utilized in the future a lot more than we realize. So I definitely, with Gia, encourage everyone to play with it, get used to it. If you have any questions, always ask, because I know herself and myself, anytime I'd be happy to answer anyone's questions. And then even what she said too about Trump is like when I broke down all of his posts the other night, it just lays out for me, and you guys will get this feeling too, as Gia has said, it just lays out a story for me. Like it gives me that confirmation of where we are, because when I started that decode and then went all the way down to the very last one, the cue drop that I got to go with all I had done simply said confirmed. And I got major God bumps on that. So it'll resonate with you, and then you'll just take off and run with it. So I know you'll all do amazing. And again, Gia, I appreciate you taking the time and including me as well. But unfortunately, I do got to jump. I got to get some things done. So thank you again
Hey,
so much.
I really appreciate you, and I'm thankful for you. And thanks for coming over here and adding. That was so important to add. And I'll see you later this evening.
Thank you,
Sounds great.
Gia.
Thanks, Gia. I'm going to have you guys listening. I just can't talk. I've got to go get some stuff done. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And literally, I feel like unless I want to answer questions, but if there is no questions, then what I'll do is just end this recording and put up the every video that I started it with, and this recording will go on the wall because it's really self-explanatory. And again, guys, it is really easy. It's just if you want to do it, it has to be a passion, as if you were learning a new hobby and you're excited about it. And it's really easy. And again, the concept of time is, how do you want to spend your time? Waiting for the RV to drop, or for this to happen or that to happen, or in the meanwhile, because I do believe good things are going to happen for us. But instead of arguing and everybody this and that, you might find more value in learning about your name and why you got that name, and what it means. And there's more meaning, you know what I mean? And it just, all of a sudden you'll be sitting there and you're like, oh wow, 2 hours just passed, and you get so much accomplished and educated. And the more you do it, the more you just they fit together again like a puzzle piece. So that's all that I want to say about it. And then, so I do want to answer any questions, but if it's no one wants to talk, then we'll go ahead and end it.
I just have a comment, maybe a comment question, maybe 3 things. Sorry. First question on the Gematria. Usually it's something you hear, a phrase, or you're decoding. So I want to know, I'm going to just say all 3 questions, I guess. I want to know if you're just randomly, thinking like, something in the future, the replicators or medbeds or something you heard. Are you decoding those? Just out of curiosity. Also, I'm a note taker. I like to take notes for audios and videos and things so I can remember. So I'm just thinking, with all these different things that you want to remember, as I'm going along the day, if there's something I want to go ahead and Gematria, I'll just take a note, write it down. I'm guessing that's a good idea. Now I can't remember the third one I was going to say. Well, anyways, those 2 anyway. So I'm guessing that's a good idea. Just write it down so you can go back and do it later. Write a phrase or something that would be meaningful to you to go ahead and Gematria.
Absolutely. And again, that is the beauty, because the trust in God, a relationship, a one-on-one relationship, I do a lot of talking throughout the day. God thinks I'm probably pretty chatty, but I'm sure there's a lot of us that are that way. But like I said, yeah, for me driving, let me see if I can pull up one thing that when I was driving, I saw, and I had to come home and decode it. And you'll understand that you're exactly right. You have to have a sense of wonder, curiosity, something that sparked your imagination. And then that I send myself a text, Amber, when I'm out. If I don't have a way to write it down real quick, I'll just go to send my own self a text and to remember what it was. If it's a license plate, then I will snap a picture of it. And then I have that for the reference when I get home. And to give you an example of that, hold on, I just want to show you, because I saw a license plate that almost made me fall over while I was driving. And this was not that long ago. Let me see. Come on, mama baby. Where are you? It was probably within the last month. And yeah, I take a lot of dang photos, but I'm scrolling through it now. So bear with me. Coming. Where is it? Stop it. Oh, you know how I'll find it quicker? Let me do this. Let me close that. I'll go to my Telegram. I'm going to open my screen, share. Okay, go to my account. Boom. And now I'm going to say search Calypso, because Calypso was on that plate. So that's how I'm going to search. Calypso. Okay. I went to town, went grocery shopping, and then I'm coming back into my development, and the car in front of me is blue, like super blue. And then now it's a blurry photo. I'm so sorry. My pic was too not clear. But if you can make it out, on the top it says Calypso. Apocalypso. I mean, lots of things. Now that I do Gematria and I think of words, like we've all learned about words and this and that, you know, I looked up that. You'll see what I did in a second. Okay, Calypso. Then it says 6 pick 460. And on the bottom it says the blue flash. Now, this car was probably referring to itself as a blue flash, but what are we learning about? The sun's turning blue. Right? Are we breaking up? Are you there?
We can hear you. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, good. Oh, so not only that, but look at the rest of the car. So here's the dragon. I live at the Dragon Lake. Shaped just like a dragon. On the right, what's over on the right?
A handprint and a footprint, a paw print.
In the 6'9", yin yang.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Animals, people. Respected all people. Quit abusing animals. And doing disgusting things to animals and using them for experiments. Okay. The dragon. Mary Magdalene and the dragon. It's a thing. And then the blue flash, the solar flash. But if I go back to the decode I did that day, Calypso equals 91. Phoenix, 91. Spirit, 91. God wins, 91. Buckle up, 91. Can't wait, 91. Final phase, 91. 9, 8, 91. There's another way that it fits into the piece of the puzzle, because my name, Gia, G-I-A, equals 17. So in this license plate that was right in front of me, 98 equals 17. Spelled out 98 equals 91. Space Force, 91. The Blue Flash, 119. Mary Magdalene, 119. So it begins, 119. Master Plan, 119. The King is Back, 119. Call of Duty, 119. Love Wins, 119. Add 91 and 119, you get 210. Spiritual Awakening, 210. Take Back Your Power, 210. Remember who you are, 210. So it's just, these are the phrases you want to identify with, because you yourself are taking back your power. Mary Magdalene, 119, that's your divine feminine, that Mary Magdalene was a metaphor, or, or not a metaphor, but she represented. So we, all us girls, can represent with that. So it's just a matter of how you build your base and what resonates with you.
So I have a comment. So when you said blue flash, I was thinking spark of life, that flash. So see, my mind went in a different direction. So
Girl, you just tied in. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this is how Gematria works, and how people working together work. Why did I not even think of that when negative 48 only told us that we're the spark, from conception that's blue when the sperm hits the egg? Hello. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. God bless you. This is why you are helping me.
I love all this. I remember my last question. I'm sorry I'm keeping you. It's just my curiosity. So if we're going to be communicating in numbers, this is just my thought here, or forward thinking, is that how we're going to communicate on our phones, in the beginning before we get super advanced, just by numbers, and everyone will know what we're talking about, sort of say? What do you think?
I think we're going to have telepathy, and that we're not going to need anything, that we're going to be able to, I think we're going to have something that I can't even explain because I don't know. And I've never experienced it.
I believe that too. I'm thinking before we get there, we might enter these numbers since they want us to learn it. But no, I totally agree. And bring on the higher level stuff now. I'm with you. Let's have the telepathy now.
Yeah. And maybe I just have to say for myself, I'm starting to feel a little bit of it. Like what they say when you're thinking of somebody and they call you, or I can tell you, it's instinct, gut, and telepathy that tells me who's in my neighborhood, who's not on the up and up, by just walking on the trail. I know, and I don't know how to explain it. And I'm so thankful that I finally met somebody amazing in my community that is thankful to have met me and wants to go do these things with me, like go to the HOA meetings, fight flock cameras, listen to what I'm telling her about, and also listen to her love for Jesus. It is like God sent me a cat, so I have something to love on, and a friend. But I tell you, there's so many people in this community that don't like me, and they don't even know who I am or met me.
I think that's the fear of them, the fear of the unknown, or if they know anything about you, of your beliefs, they don't understand it, and it scares them. And then then you're the outsider, right? As many of us are. So I would not take offense to that, because they're all going to flock to you in the end, whether you want them or not.
You just said something beautiful. Flock. I'm fighting the flock cameras, but they're all going to flock to me in the end. Yes, I agree. Flock off.
Gee, are you going to have another class? Is this ongoing? Wait, you have one Thursday, don't you, too?
No, I guess I'm going to play it by ear and decide, like, if there's a want for it, or if, and if I can fill, or maybe we'll just do an hour of it to where people can actually start, and then we can come in and talk. I'm going to continue to look for education on sacred geometry, different videos that might make sense to us. Just see if anybody wants to discuss it. I don't want to get into a situation again to where people are trying to prove why they're right on something or wrong. I'd rather build off of something that we know that we learned. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Like, did you get a chance to do your, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now, except for that. Yeah, I want to base it off of Gematria and anything that goes along that subject line, and then see how you guys are doing with it, and go from there. Just play it by ear. Go with the flow, baby.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah. Good. I'm excited. And I'm so glad, Amber, that you're so interested and excited. And last night when we talked to Oathkeeper Bill, after he talked about, how to go about going into your own community, talking to higher ups and what to do, he made me excited. And so I told him, thank you, Oathkeeper Bill, for all of that. Like, I'm so excited. And he was like, boom, that is what we need. People to be excited and not in fear, and to actually go to your sheriff excited because you learned something he may not be aware of. And it's the excitement of a better world. And have you heard about this yet? And how can I, help you if you haven't? Like, do you have any, we're just going to make it seem like we're not threatening. We're here to help. And we just, but I'm going to start mine because I know my sheriff is, ruh-roh. I'm going to start it with an email, and I'm going to CC probably 10 to 15 different people on that same email. And that way he can't just get the email by himself and put it in the, junk folder. He's going to have to say, oh, shoot, Congressman so-and-so got this. Got it. That person got it. I'm going to make sure that it gets to many people, and then I'm going to put it on Facebook so that I can recommend a nice format letter for anybody else who's facing these issues. So I'm going to try to do things to help humanity, and that's what I'm going to do.
And that is great. And that takes a lot of courage. It really does, because we know how the attacks come. So just be careful.
Exactly. That's why I think the email, knowing the sheriff here, because he has to attend our monthly flock meeting. And he's already shown himself to be not approachable. And in defense of the HOA community who installed these cameras, upped our fees, all without asking us. So I see where he stands. And I don't want to walk in and become a target like I've already been targeted. But so I feel like my wisest move in my situation is to send the email with the CCs and go from there. All right, guys. Well, look at that. It's 12:55, 5 minutes before I was going to end it anyway. I was given the advice to not get on a chat and stay on it from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. And I can't say I haven't done that so many times. But as starting this class, I decided that I would put, like a 2-hour on it so that nobody gets tired or, it should be informational and educational and a place to ask questions and then wish each other well, to go out and utilize. Again, I look at things in a militant way. So I liked that suggestion because I thought, okay, yeah, I have to be smart about this. I'll do it 2 days a week. I'll make it maybe an hour, or 2, and whatever it ends up ending at, and then go from there. But then when I'm not online, work on myself, work on this, work on that, to help my future, knowing that there's a lot of other things that are coming in and help our future that we're not aware of yet. But I am so excited about it because I know that's happening. So I have to do my best for being in the moment today and not worry about yesterday or tomorrow. And that is also what Gematria, sacred geometry, and all these things have helped me learn.
Ooh, I am all about the futuristic and the hidden things from us. That's what's in my mind. That's what keeps me so positive, honestly, knowing what's coming. And we don't know all of it. We just know bits and pieces, but I am super excited like yourself. Can't wait.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I am so thankful. I might have to write this date down and put it in Gematria, because I think this is really what Negative wanted us to do eventually. But he also knew better than anyone else that we were going to have to learn lessons, go through challenges, start working on healing those things in our lives that weren't good for us. And, but yet come back to full circle to help people and to, for me, it's not being triggered. Like, because somebody could come in this chat right now and go, you think you're all, and I would just, that doesn't bother me anymore. Now, when people blocked me 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you said things to me, it did hurt. I have to admit, it was painful. But now that's not something that I hold so much value for myself now. I love myself finally, to where no one can dictate. That's just their opinion, but that's not who I am. So it would never affect me anymore. And if it did happen that way, it was only meant that I shouldn't be there in the first place. So I had to finally come to those conclusions. But I'm so grateful for all of it, even for the people that maybe did it on purpose to get me to learn that lesson. I don't know nothing. I'm just grateful to be here today. Grateful for all of you. And I'm sure I'll see you out and about on other channels. Thank you, everyone. Heavenly Father, thank you for helping me and everyone else on this journey and learning through lessons and just helping guide us in where we need to be and go, to help this movement for humanity, for a loving world, a kind world, a safe world, and for the truth to be exposed, dark to light. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Thank you so much, Gia. Loved all of it. And I just want to say to Kim, healing prayers for you, sister. From everyone. I'm sure we all feel that way. And Gia, you're amazing. You're one of a kind, I will say that, in a very positive, great way.
Thank you, Gia. Thank you for your story.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Gia.
You guys are awesome. Love you. Thank you. I had a very
Thanks so
special.
much. It was awesome.
Thanks, Luann.
Thank you all. And Kimmy, keep your chin up, darling.
Thank you, Mama. Love you.
Love you, honey. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye, guys.